It is International Women's Day, and we are delighted here at the Paid Leave Authority to host this rally in support of paid leave. The purpose of today's program is for you to hear from the voices of men and women for whom paid family and medical leave would have made an enormous difference in their lives had it existed at the time that they really needed it. So I am really very happy to have all of you here today. I am Andrea Barton-Rees. I am the CEO of Connecticut's Paid Leave Authority. And we have a wonderful attendance today and a program for you. You will hear directly from people so that you can understand the value of paid leave. But before we begin, I would like to recognize and introduce the state's Lieutenant Governor, a wonderful supporter of paid family and medical leave, the leader of the Council on Women and Girls, the Honorable Susan Weissowitz. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for being here.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for your leadership, and good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to join all of you today for this very important topic, and especially on International Women's Day to highlight Connecticut's landmark paid leave program, which launched earlier this year in January, and to talk about how we can build on these efforts to make our state the most female-friendly and family-friendly in the country. This law was passed back in the 2019 legislative session, and it's going to provide up to 12 weeks of replacement wages for workers who have to take extended time off for personal illness or to care for their loved ones. And I think this COVID-19 pandemic has really highlighted how critical this is, and it has also laid bare the inequities and disparities that exist in every aspect of our society, from access to quality health care to education to employment. And we can't defeat the spread of the virus if we don't have the ability to take time off, to isolate, to quarantine, or to care for sick loved ones. And that's why I'm so excited that Connecticut has continued to lead the way. And it's why, since the governor and I have taken office, we've been incredibly focused on advancing priorities for women and families, because at their core, women's issues are economic issues. And one of our top priorities has been to bring together every one of our cabinet secretaries here in Connecticut to talk about how each of our state departments can act in a very coordinated way to address the needs of women and girls. And last week, we announced our legislative agenda. One of those 6 bills had to do with making sure that more women can run for elective office, because we won't have family-friendly policies unless we have more female leaders. And I wanted to give a shout out to Caitlin Pereira, who's one of the female candidates that brought to our attention the fact that our Connecticut state public finance program didn't provide for child care expenses as an approved expense under our CEP program. So we hope that the legislature will change that. We also want to make sure that employment discrimination, particularly against our older women workers, is addressed in our state. And that's why we are supporting legislation that would remove from job applications the dates of birth or dates of graduation or dates of employment that would let employers know what a person's age is. And we want to add reciprocity so that the spouses of the many military workers who move to Connecticut have the opportunity to have their licenses recognized, whether they're a realtor or a nurse or in some other profession. 90% of the military spouses that come to our state are women, and there's a very high unemployment rate amongst those women because their licenses for teaching or nursing or other medical professions aren't recognized. So these are just a few of the things that we are hoping to change. And I want to thank Andrea and the team at Connecticut Paid Leave for being so successful in getting 2/3 of our employers to sign up. We know the work isn't done. So if you know of a business out there who hasn't registered, please let them know that they have an opportunity to register now so that their employees can participate in this critical program that's going to keep our families and our state safe. So thank you so much, Andrea, for having me, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of the stories of the working women who've joined us today.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to introduce Chevelle Moss-Savage. And Chevelle and I had a chance to chat just a little bit before we began today. So I welcome you to tell your story about paid family medical leave and the difference it would have made in your life. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Chevelle Moss-Savage, and I had the pleasure of serving on the board of directors for OutCT, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization established in 2013 for members of the LGBTQ community in southeastern Connecticut to plan a new London Pride Festival. And we've done so much more since then. I want to thank the planners and advocates of this rally because it is so important and allows members of the LGBTQIA community to be considered as family units, when inherently that has always not been the case for so many reasons. In my, when I was thinking of what I was going to say today, I looked up the definition of family. And so Merriam-Webster definition of family is as follows: the basic unit in a society traditionally consisting of two parents rearing their children. Now, based on that definition in the dictionary, it appears in order to be considered a family, you have to be a parent. This is a very narrow definition, as a lot of you know. So my spouse and I are not considered a family because at that point in time, we didn't have any children. However, Connecticut Paid Family Leave understands that families of all dynamics are important, which makes me want to share a personal story. Several years ago, my spouse had a medical emergency which required a higher level of care. So for that time, it meant that I had to be there to try to support her in every way possible. However, my employer at the time did not acknowledge same-gender relationships as family. This meant I could not take leave time to ensure she was properly cared for without the threat of losing my job because our family dynamic was not considered a real family. And just to give you some context, my coworkers at the agency I was working at consists of married or partnered folks. So if one of my coworkers, husband or wives or partners, had a medical emergency, it was a given that they could request time off to take care or support their loved one. However, that was not my testimony. First, at the time, we were not married, so our relationship did not qualify for paid leave of a spouse or partner. And second, same-gender loving relationships were not legal in the state that we resided in. I'm originally from Virginia. You probably can hear my accent. I don't think I have one, but others say I do. And also, I was not out at work for several reasons. But none of those factors could compare to my angst about not being able to support my partner so she could recover in the best way possible. If family paid leave was available, that would have relieved some of my anxiety. And so I will close with this. The true meaning of family, the definition of family, are people who love and support you and allow you to be seen and heard. Some members of LGBT community are estranged from their biological family, and their entire support system is made up of chosen family. Paid family medical leave's definition of family would include those chosen family members, which for reasons I mentioned are paramount to the LGBTQ community. So paid family leave is just not the right thing to do. It's a social justice thing to do. And I want to thank you for allowing me to share my story.
Thank you, Chevelle. Thank you. That was just incredibly powerful. I appreciate you being here today.